Hey guys, what's going on? It's Don here from Novaspirit Tech and welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to be checking out the Atoto S8 Ultra. So let's get started. Now this is a radio head unit for cars, and this was the same exact version that I was planning to purchase for my WRX before I decided to go the Raspberry Pi route. And because I did that video on the Raspberry Pi head unit, it caught their attention and they decided to send this over to me, which I really do thank them for. Now I will leave everything linked down in the description below if you guys are interested in purchasing this, and they do have multiple versions, which is the standard, premium, pro, and this one is the ultra, and vehicle specific builds as well. Now each version doesn't particularly mean it's the same thing. Like the standard version is actually for a single DIN with a pop-out LCD, and you don't get the SIM card access and all that other stuff. So which means you have to look up which version that works for your vehicle. In my case, the Ultra would definitely work for the Subaru. Now, if you're not planning to build your own head unit like I did, this is definitely something to look into, because I've been playing around with this for the past couple of days out of my car, just like this. And I gotta say, I'm very impressed with the Android operating system that they put into here. But before we jump into that detail, let's see what hardware it comes with. Now, obviously, we got the double DIN head unit, and then we also get a bunch of USB cables. Actually, it's 4 in total, and each one does something different. One has the phone connect, the other ones have quick charge, so you got to see which one you actually really want to plug in, because you don't have to use all of them. Now, you do get an external GPS, and also external Wi-Fi and external 4G, as well as a bunch of mounting hardware dependent on the vehicle. They have a universal fit, then they have specific fits, so you might be able to find yours in here. They have 3 different plates that you could work with on your vehicle. It also does come with 2 screen protectors, just in case you screw one up or you mess one up. They do come with 2 screen protectors, but most importantly, it are the instruction manuals. The instruction manuals, they look how many they come with. It's 4 different ones, and one teaches you how to install. The other one teaches you how to use the hand gestures, how to use the radio itself. So definitely look into the actual owner's manual so you could learn how to use the system, because there's a lot of features in here. One of the things that I love about this head unit and all Atoto products is that it uses a Panasonic Harness, which means you can actually search Panasonic Harness to specific vehicles, and you might be able to just buy the harness itself without even having to solder or shrink wrap or anything. It'll just be one complete harness for your specific vehicle, and that's why they did it this way. Now in the back, there are multiple connections where you could have front video in, which you can actually turn this into a dash cam. You have rear video in, which is for reverse cameras, audio in, and then audio out. It also has 2 mics, one which is in front over here, and another one that you could connect directly to the back, and you could put this somewhere else. Now this particular version has a smaller trim. It's 97 millimeters high and I think 178 millimeters width, which fits perfectly into the WRX. But if you got like something, I think a Honda or Toyota, where it has a little bit bigger trim with 100 millimeters and 180 width, you have this little trim that you could put on to make it a little bit wider on the sides, so you'll get a flush fit. Jumping into the operating system itself, you have the Android 10, which is great. What that means is anything that works on an Android tablet or phone, you could install into here. So if you are interested in installing Torque to see your gauges, or you're interested in installing Spotify, Pandora, whatever it is, this operating system will support it, and you could install it on here. Especially if you are looking into doing some video playback, which I don't recommend. Yeah, you could install Netflix, Disney Plus, or whatever into this Android operating system. There's also this option where you could disable video while moving. So that's another good feature to have, because you shouldn't really be watching anything while you're driving. Now, one of the things they do talk about in the manual, it's actually not even seen anywhere, but in the manual, you could actually purchase a USB HDMI device and output 2 video signals to headrest monitors. So if you got headrests for the kids or anything in the back, you could actually have this radio output video signals to those 2, have them watch videos while this just turns into a regular radio. I haven't tried this feature out, but I just read about it in the manual, which is pretty cool. This also supports gestures, not only touch gestures, but actual regular gestures with your hand. There's a little infrared device over here that could actually see your hand signals. And again, there's a full manual on how you could do it. If you wave your hand from right to left or wave your hand up and down, you could actually do specific functions with those gestures without having to touch the screen. And honestly, it does help a lot, especially if you are not wanting to look at your screen to change to the next song, because that's distracting. You could just do a quick left to right hand gesture and change to the next track. The screen that you see right now is pretty default. You could go left and right and also hit the applications to see all the applications, but you don't have to be stuck with using their native launcher, you could say. You could actually install car launchers. That's what I would call it. And as you can see right here, this just looks standard. And if I was to go over to one of the car launchers that I was looking at, this is a launcher that I would be taking a look at, where it's not distracting. You have all the buttons on the side. You could actually put GPS navigations into the center or the clock. There's so many different launchers that you could use. This is one of them that I looked at and it was very interesting. And honestly, this launcher is only for $1.99 and it's worth every penny, I think. This is another launcher I was playing around with, where you have the clock on the side. And again, if you were to play around with this, you could probably get the navigation. There are multiple launchers that you could get depending on your style. And you don't have to stick with the default template that it comes with. As far as the hardware goes on this guy, it is a 8-core, 4 gigs of RAM with 64 gigabytes of internal storage. So if you want to transfer audio or videos and stuff like that to this device, you have 64 gigabytes of storage to use that. Technically, it's like 60 because 4 gigs is used by the operating system itself. Now, I won't be able to test audio with this because it all depends on your car. If you got a different amplifier, different speakers, whatever, you're not going to be able to pick up the same sound quality that I'm going to be picking up if I was to test this audio. But I could tell you I did hook up a speaker to it and it sounds fine. Again, I didn't think I would like an Android operating system for a car radio as much as I did until I started playing around with this guy. I always thought that keeping it simple was the easiest way to go, and this way it won't distract you from driving. But having Android and different dashboards and different launchers, different applications that you specifically want, that works out really good. Now, I will be keeping this as a backup head unit to my Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi is still installed in my car and it's working great. It went through 2 heat waves of 119 degrees in the car and it still hasn't melted, haven't had a problem. It wasn't overheating. So yeah, it's been working out great on the Raspberry Pi, especially with that fan cooler, and it does kick in. So I know it's working, but I don't have that little temperature gauge where it's overheating. So in that cubby at 119 degrees, the radio still worked great. I will be installing this into another vehicle in the future just to see how well it works inside a car, but for now, this, like I said, this is my backup head unit. But anyway, that is it for me, guys. If you have any questions about this particular version, let me know down in the comments below. If you guys are new to this channel, consider subscribing, also hitting that bell notification icon so you know when the next video is going to be out. And as they say in my nerd cave, hack till it hurts.